have to call my friends every single day. It's almost like I can't be alone. I'm almost worried for myself because I don't actually remember the last time I spent really good quality time alone. Hello guys, welcome back. I can't believe how much love I actually got on my last episode, and it really spoke volumes to how little there is online about people speaking out about binge eating. I'm always here. I will always respond to every comment I can. Today I want to talk about not being able to process your emotions alone. I think this is something I have struggled with for as long as I've ever known myself. It becomes to a point where you feel like the burden and you feel like you're taking up loads of space in other people's lives. Every conversation I have with my friends at this given time, and for as long as I remember, has always been negative or something I'm dealing with or something I'm struggling with. But I do think a lot of it is down to the fact that we have access to communicate all the time. And I think it's great to process your emotions with other people. It's great to be vocal and not shy away from or bottle up your emotions. And I just don't know any other way to process my emotion but speak about it. And I saw this funny meme which was like, calling my best friend but she doesn't answer because I can't process my emotions alone. And it was just so true, and I just thought I need to talk about that because I actually can't process emotions without calling one of my friends. I really admire people that can just be by themselves and process it themselves. I think that takes a very, very strong person to do that, and I feel very weak-minded for having to almost rely on other people to process my emotions with me. And I think a big factor of that is just being so fearful of being lonely, because we all know the feeling. I have one person in my life where I didn't realize she was going through a breakup until I actually asked if everything was okay in her life, and she said to me, yeah, I've been dealing with it but I've had to process it on my own because I couldn't tell you guys about it or anyone because I had to just deal with that. And I just thought, I don't know how you can do that, but props to you, because I would be a total mess with everyone. And I don't know whether it's because she felt like a burden or if she felt like she was bothering me, but I feel like I bother her enough with my issues that you can most definitely come to me. Funnily enough, this is something me and the girls were talking about the other day, but I will never be the friend where I will make you feel bad for speaking to me about your issues. It kind of came down to the fact of we were all talking about when you break up with someone, your best friends are the ones to pick up the pieces. And I said, I know how that feels to be on that foot. So I will never be the friend to make that statement of, yeah, I've got to pick up the pieces. But yeah, I know I have to pick up the pieces because this boy is a piece of crap. And it goes to show that when my friend just went through a breakup just now, I was there for her day and night. I did not care what time of day that she needed me. I would always actively send her voice notes and she would send me voice notes back. And I think just verbalizing it and feeling like you have someone there helps you incredibly. And for her to process that and get different views, because I think when you process it on your own, you're sort of internalizing all of your emotions. But this gets to a point where you don't want to get too much external information from the outside, because that's when you'll get confused and that's when you won't really abide by your own morals, etc. But I think it's super important to get some sort of external feedback. And yeah, I don't know, I know how it feels to be going through that and feeling like you don't want to disturb anyone else's peace. But believe you me, when the shoe is on the other foot and that person has to deal with that, you know, it's just about, I guess, the boundaries you set in a relationship. You've got to respect if someone doesn't want to pick up the pieces, cool. You also have to respect the fact that, and it can happen to anyone, it can happen to you, and you don't want to not have that support system when you need it. And I can also understand people don't have the energy to support people, whatever. Like, I've been there where I can't even look after myself, let alone someone else. And I always think if it was me, I would need that. What would I think if I needed that? And I always abide by that, you know. But anyways, I have to call my friends every single day. It's almost like I can't be alone. I'm almost worried for myself because I don't actually remember the last time I spent really good quality time alone. I know I said in my previous episode that I went to a concert alone. I will always advocate for time alone even though I can't even do it myself, but that's because I'm trying to talk myself into it, to be honest with you. You know, it's not all negative. Sometimes you get really great news and you have to share it with other people so you can process it with other people. It's not all negative, but for me personally, mainly it is all negative. You know, something bad will happen to me in the day or some drama will happen and I'll have to explain it. Very rarely is it positive, and when it is positive, I feel like they think, finally, Corey's speaking about something positive. And it's not even like my friends have said this to me, but I do genuinely feel like I am a pain in the arse. I don't know if they want to be my friend some of the time. I just have a lot of dependent issues. I almost get embarrassed because my friends are quite independent and they're quite self-sufficient. So when I come to them about my issues that they've already probably dealt with themselves, it just feels like I'm being that really annoying younger sister. And I don't know if anyone else gets that with their friends, but I obviously know my friends are there for me, and I get that they're there for me and they're so supportive and they're the best people in my lives ever. But at the same time, I feel like I'm really disturbing their peace right now. I have this one friend where I don't see her very often, but we will message each other, like video message each other and catch up. And I do feel like every time we catch up, I have a lot of negative things to say and I'm in a bad place or whatever. I do feel like that's why she doesn't want to talk to me as much, because I'm always very negative and she's quite a positive person. She likes to see the glass half full rather glass half empty. Glass half empty. I'm definitely the glass half empty type of girl, but I'm trying to work on it. So yeah, I do feel like some of my friends get it and some of my friends don't. But you know, that comes down to you have friends for different reasons. So for example, some friends are good for going out with, some friends are good for deep chats, some friends are good for spontaneous shit, some friends are good for just having that person to be around and you don't have to have any social energy with, you can just be on your phone around them. Do you know what I mean? There's different friends for different reasons. Season, reason or a blessing is also something else I've wanted to talk about for the longest time, but it's just so much to talk about because I've lost people and I've found people and people have just gone through my life recently. I'm in my 20s. I do feel like I'm at that age now where people have left my life a lot and joined my life a lot. It is kind of depressing and annoying because you put all your energy into this person and they just leave and you're like, thank you. I wish I didn't put my energy into you now because I can barely put energy into myself, and I do that because I do that with other people and I always put other people first and I don't put myself first. This is also another issue that I have. I'm cautious of who enters my life now because people can turn their back on you like that and you don't have any control over it, and it's the most frustrating, painful things because how can you be in my life for so long and then just not give a flying fuck anymore? So then you're like, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the problem. I don't know. Like, I feel like I bring so many issues to the table. Sometimes I do feel like I'm difficult to be around, but at the same time, I do feel like I'm the life of the party, which makes no sense. I do think it depends who I'm around, and maybe that's because I need to analyze who do I feel myself most around and who do I not, and maybe cut out the people that I feel like I can't be myself around them. Because have you ever gone out with a group of friends or this one friend, whoever it is, and you're like, damn, I had the best time ever. I was funny as hell and I just really just had the best time in my life. And I really felt like they understood and accepted me. Have you ever had that? Because I feel like I should be having that every time I hang out with my friends. However, I don't. Not all the time. Not everyone that's in my life I feel that way. But I think that reflects back on me because I don't know myself 100%. And I do have friends that I aspire to be that I'm not there yet. I'm not at that point in my life yet, which is kind of confusing because you're like, I want to be like you, but I'm not like you now. And I kind of don't want to be like you right now, but I will in the future. That is confusing because everyone's at different points of life. I guess I need to go back to the point of depending on people because, bro, I depend on people way too much. I've come to a point where I depend on my relationship so much. And I'm very anxiously attached to people. I'm very aware of that. I wouldn't say I'm clingy either. I'm not that type of person. I just know how it feels to be sad and I don't want other people to feel that way. And I've been in very dark places before where I've had absolutely no one. And it's been the worst points of my life. And if I didn't have this one friend that I had, I don't think I'd be here. Like they always say the happiest person in the room is actually the most depressed. And I actually, every time I go to a comedy club, which is something me and my boyfriend love to do on our spare time, once upon a time, I think the last time I went to a comedy club, I saw this man and he came up on stage and it was so evident that he was on a substance, right? And you could just tell. And I straight off the bat said to my boyfriend, he's on it. he's on it, he's on something. And I was looking at him telling jokes, everyone was laughing, and I was just sitting there, I don't find this funny, because I can see he's hurting. I can really see he's a depressed man that needs help. And I said to my boyfriend, I was like, I can't sit here, I actually can't watch it. And he was like, I don't know what you're on about, I don't notice it. And then after a while he started to think, oh shit, I see it now, I actually see what you're saying. But like his jokes, what he was saying was hilarious, but I couldn't bring myself to laugh. And that really clarified to me that the happiest people are the saddest people on earth, because they know how it feels to be sad. And don't get me wrong, I think it's a great trait to have, the understanding of feeling so low, because you can help other people and that can better the world of humanity. But there's only so much you can do until you need to help yourself. That's what you have to realize. If you're catching yourself putting other people before you, or making someone laugh because you feel sad, you know, it might make you feel temporarily better, but you're going to leave that scenario and that situation feeling 10 times worse than you did before you came, because of all the endorphins and the emotions. Like, I think Dave said something, if you ever listen to Dave the rapper, he said something really interesting in one of his songs. You feel love for an hour and then it gets to stage, or something like that. And he was basically explaining how he can go up on stage and feel love for an hour, and then as soon as he goes home he feels so alone. And so like that stuff is all just a facade, like whatever. I do genuinely believe that being that type of person to uplift other people and things like that can really make things worse, but I know it feels good in the moment. I really do. The reason that hits so hard to home is because when I personally was a kid, I was the happiest, funniest joker of a kid. I would always make people laugh. I would always be the funny one. I look back and I'm thinking, that humour was first class, Corey. Well done, hats off. How could I be this funny now? I'm really not that funny anymore. But back in the day, I was on the outside the funniest kid, but on the inside, I was lonely and sad as hell. Dealing with this type of anxiety, I did not know what it was at the time. I felt so isolated and so alone. If you don't know, it's dissociation, but it's not the glamorized dissociation everyone talks about. It's the fucking hardcore shit where I would be in year 4 thinking, I don't feel alive, I don't feel like I'm here right now, and I would have this full-blown panic attack. The multiple brain scans I had, the doctors, the hospital's appointment, they couldn't figure it out. I thought I was going crazy, and that made me feel really alone, and that made me feel really depressed. And on the outside, I was the joker, making all the videos, making the YouTube videos, making the music video stars. If you know, you know. The Vines back in the day, like that was the shit. And I was happy temporarily, but it hit me when I got to a bigger age and I felt like I completely did not put myself first. Obviously, because I'm a kid, but I did not put myself first. I put everyone else first, and it's sort of led into my adulthood, and I still catch myself doing that now. But now I'm older, I'm at the point where I have to depend on other people because I had to depend on myself when I was younger. And I guess that's because I felt like I missed out, and I felt very misunderstood as a kid. I felt very alone, very isolated, didn't have that many friends, and the friends I did have were very fake. I've just come to this crazy realization just speaking, and this is what I mean. Speaking about things really helps. So this is why you do need to reach out to people and not suppress your emotions. But it gets to a point where you sort of burden yourself because you feel like a burden all the time, but you can't help but explain to other people how you feel because it makes you feel better. If you find yourself depending other people, FaceTiming people every day, texting people every day, I do think that's a lot better than suppressing it. And I don't want you guys to ever feel like you're a burden. And if you do, you have the wrong friends around you. Never feel like you're a burden with me. If you want to have go ham in the comments or message me on Instagram, or just go on the Girl Math Pod on Instagram or my Instagram, doesn't matter. I will sit there and listen, if anything, and I will always read it. I might not have time to get back to you, but I will always read it. And yeah, I will always get back to my YouTube comments. So don't ever feel like a burden. And if you do, you're with the wrong people. That's the moral of the story. And I'd much rather you talk about your feelings day in, day out, every single hour of every day, if it means that you're not wanting to at the end of the day. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And please do follow me if you want on Instagram. So when I talk about story times or things I've been through, I do post it on the Girl Math Pod Instagram or at Corey Blonde. Both of them you can see. I just post my life. Do not give a fuck about what people think I post about. I just post. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will catch you later. Goodbye.